Hi, Karen Hadley here from stampingbees.co.nz. Welcome back. Today is blowing a gale out there and it's raining and it's cold, so the absolute perfect day for crafting. So today I'd like to share with you a card that I've made replicating a card that was in the Paper Pumpkin. Now, Paper Pumpkin set was released here for the first time in New Zealand and it was so popular. So if you didn't get a chance to purchase one of these kits, I would like to share an alternative with you today, and I hope you like it. And don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I'd love to see you. I hope you enjoy. So as I was saying, we had the Paper Pumpkin kit here for the first time, which was extremely popular down under, and it was called the Hugs from Shelli kit. It was beautiful, and so today I just wanted to make a card. If you weren't fortunate enough to be able to get the kit, then I wanted to make a card for you using some other sets that looks very similar. This is affiliated mainly with the Bird Ballad suite, but I thought we'd use a couple of other suites for you today. So that is the card that was in the kit, and this is the card that we will be making today. We are using the Very Versailles and the Fanciful Fragrance stamp sets, which are just gorgeous. I put that on the list of items, but I just love the perfumes and the texture that these two sets offer. So let me work through this with you. It is quick and easy, but definitely that vintage kind of look. I'll pop that up there, and I've pre-cut this. We'll just crease the edge, and then I will use the stamp. Now this is from the Very Versailles, this one. There is a writing stamp set. There is a writing stamp set in the Fanciful Fragrance, but it was just a bit small and I just wanted to cover this a bit quicker. And I have used crumb cake on this. Now I just need a scrap bit of paper to stamp off. So because it is the background, I have stamped off with this writing. Oh, let's get it up the right way. So I'll just stamp off. There's no, you're not actually sort of reading it, so it's not that important that you get the words exactly right. Give it a good ink and stamp up. Okay. So you get dark and light, that's all part of the peel. Now I'll leave my crumb cake out because I'm going to pop the perfume bottles on this time. Now I'll put them up in the top third because I'm going to have the tag down the bottom. Now I'm not going to stamp off these perfume bottles. Aren't they just gorgeous? Very vintagey. Now when I talk about stamping up, it's when you ink up your stamp and then you stamp it off once or twice, depending on the lightness of the colour that you're wanting to achieve. Okay, I'm just going to pop that about there. Now this should be a bit darker because I haven't stamped it off. Perfect. And just in the corner, I'll just stamp this lovely flower that's with this. So I'll just fold that and just take it round to wherever you want it. Lovely. So as I say, this is quick and easy. The hardest part is a little bit of fussy cutting. Actually, while we're here, I've pre-cut the centre out. No, that's my scrap bit of paper. Oh, I did pre-cut the centre out somewhere. Okay, that is here. I will grab it in a minute. That is for the flowers, which is what we're going to do now. So, as you can see, we have one set of flowers here which are fussy cut out, and we have one single one. So that just means stamping twice and only just cutting out this one. So we will be using our alcohol blends to colour these in. So we'll just stamp these once, twice. Okay. Now, the colours that I've used are Petal Pink, light and dark, and I have also used dark and light olive, and just for the centre I have used the dark mango melody. I'm just struggling actually, looking at things with one eye. I've had the lurgy and one of my eyes just keeps watering, so I can't really see out of it. And it keeps watering up, and I'm sort of like reading everything one-eyed at the moment, so yes, do excuse me. Now, this is the way I like to colour in with my alcohol blends. There is lots of different options out there for you, and you can just practice and choose which one you like to use. The stamping blends come with a thick, more paintbrush end with the thicker line there, and there is a thin line. This is for more detailed work, and this is more like a paintbrush. Though they are quite delicate, these ends, so don't sort of push down hard on them. I tend to use them just slightly on their side. So I'm going to start with the dark. As I say, I like to just put dark to start off with, where I want the dark to be. But some people like to saturate with the light first. So I will put on a bit of dark, and then I come in with the light, and then I come back with the dark after that. As I say, it was only one flower from this set, from the second stamp. Now, I've always put the lid back on because the alcohol, they do dry out quickly. And I'm not talking about that sort of evaporation. My alcohol wine glasses always seem to evaporate, I must admit. So we're just taking, these are such small spaces anyway, that you don't need to worry about it too much. So I'm just going over this with the light colour now. And just up to the ends. There is a colour lifter marker that you can use as well if you want to add a bit of more detail with white, or if you go over the lines and you're not fussy cutting, this can help to actually lift your error. Now I usually just go back. This, when you put it on, first put it on, looks a bit orangey, this colour, but it does dry into a sort of a more pinky colour. So I just go back and just go over the shading a little bit. Now you can just go backwards and forwards till you're happy with the shading that you like. With all sort of shading, if you wanted to get really particular, then you pick a side that the sun would be shining on, and then you darken the other side a little bit more. But for these, we're just darkening the middle, and we have the leaves. So once again, I like to start, as I say, with the darker colour. Everybody's different. That's the beauty of these things. You can basically choose how you want to do something. I find that starting with the dark, and I think that was the way that I was first taught, starting with the dark, you can then blend it out and not get definite lines, which is what I quite like. And just I will use the finer finer tip, just for these little, if my eye will focus, just these little green bits here. And I've just added the yellow into the centre. We will be putting a bit of glitter onto these later, so it's not too, just to add that bit of, not on there, but on there, and on that one. Perfect. So now you need to fussy cut that. I will not, I've got something I've cut out before, but just a reminder, I think I did say on another video that I did that when you're fussy cutting, you move the paper, you don't move the scissors, and this just makes it a lot easier to get around all those corners and to cut out your shapes. So as I say, something I've prepared earlier, because I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch me cutting out. So those are the flowers. Now I have pre-cut, I have used the amazing stitched nested label dies. These come with the Bird Ballad suite. I have used this side here. Now this has stitching all around, so it not only cuts out and gives you stitching on the label like this, but it also leaves a stitching shape on the remaining paper that you've cut it out, so that gives you a lot more versatility. And it also has a strip there. Use these quite a lot already. So that's the tag for the front. Just pop that over there. Wonderful. Now I've got the stamp. So I always like to practice with my stamp to make sure, A, that I've got it up the right way, and B, that it's reasonably straight. But you can use your Stamparatus for this sort of thing. So I will do that on another, maybe next week I'll give a bit of a lesson on using some of the Stamparatus tricks on different things. But just if you're wanting to do free stamping, I level it up, so I know I need to go down a little bit on the right hand side to get that straight. So I'll just do that. Perfect. So now I've got to get it perfect on here, of course, but so there we go. Bit lucky. It's always a bit nerve-wracking doing these things on a recording, I must admit. So we've got that now. Now the other thing is that I wanted some linen, some cord that matched in the colours, like the pink here with these flowers, and of course that came with the kit, and you can't get it now. So I thought, oh well, I'll use my white that I have and I will colour it. So once again I will use these alcohol pens, which are great for colouring not only cord or ribbon, but also for the pearls, or the diamantes I like to call them, to match the colour that you want. So all you need to do, now I did try the dark colour, but that was not quite the right shade, so I did it again and I used the lighter colour. So it does dry quite quickly. It is, as I said, alcohol, so you don't have to wait too long. And make sure that you do it on a scrap bit of paper, because obviously you can't be exact with your colouring. Probably grabbed it too long a piece, but okay, so just going to do this. So I just use the side of the brush. Don't press down into it with the tip, because you don't want to fray that or wreck it. It is like a paint brush, but you still want to keep it as accurate as you can. I'll just, obviously you can do this a bit more thoroughly when you're colouring. I've probably cut it way too long as well. Okay, so let's grab the card again. So I've got the tag, so I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back. Oops, I'll use these, the bigger ones. Now I'll just put one there. Getting to the end of this pack, but of course you then cut up the edges, never waste anything. Okay, so I'm just taking the sticky off now. Oops, that one's come off. That one's come off with the sticky on it, with the backing still on it. It's unusual. Now, all I've done with this, I'll just check that's the deer. Just wrapping it around my fingers a couple of times. Don't want it too tight. I think I said something in my last video about learning how to do ribbons. Well, this was the other sort of thing. Everyone always makes this look quite easy, and they wrap things around and sort of randomly put things in places. And it took me ages to randomly put things into places, though they were supposed to look sort of random. So yeah, it is just practice really, till you're happy with where things are. So I'll just move those around a bit. Now I'm just using the sticky on there to, so when I pop that in I can change that a bit too, and I've got so I might tighten that up a bit. That's a bit better. So I'm just going to pop that on there, on the dimensionals. Now you can still fiddle around with that a bit to get it exactly where you want it. And I'll just cut off that little bit of feathery bit. I don't think you want to see that. I'll do the flower, will be covering that. So as I say, you've still got time to play around with it until you're happy with where it is. It is after all random. So just pop that in and push down. So now I'm just going to pop the mini dimensionals onto the back, and I forgot to bring over my little pokey tool, but that's all right, I can use scissors. Don't think anyone wants a dark hair in there. I don't know where it decided to come from. Okay. What would we do without dimensionals? They just add that wonderful element, don't they? I think I would put them on most cards in some form or other. Okay, so just put that on the corner there. And then we have the other one. Just to balance it out really. And got to have the diamantes. Now, as I say, you can use your alcohol blends for these as well. So I will do, let me just 3 this though. So when you're using these on pearls or other gems like that, you do need to not colour them so much. Now these are colouring, you probably can't tell. It's such a delicate colour. I'm not sure if you can tell the difference between those. So I will pop them on. So an odd number is more appealing to the eye when you are looking at something. So I have popped 3 on there, and I'll just pull this out a little bit more over to there, I think. And we will be doing the inside, which I thought I had the paper. Just pause you for one moment and I will go and get the insert, and I will be back in 1 second. So I've got that. I'm just going to be stamping the flower and Love Me on the inside. And we will use crumb cake again. So only 1 ink pad for this. Let's do the flowers first, I think. And once again, I'll just check. I don't want it completely crooked. And I will that, pop those off to one side. It'll get glued into the center. Now there's just one last thing to show you. What I've done is just popped a tiny bit of this glue in the center of these flowers and used some glitter just to pop on there, just to highlight the centers there. Doesn't need much, and I tell you, once you use glitter, I don't know how come, but the glitter seems to go everywhere, even in places you've not even had it. It's just everywhere, but that's right. Could be worse things, couldn't it? Nothing wrong with a bit of glitter. So that's finished there, and of course just with an envelope. This is using Very Vanilla. This cardstock here and on the inside is Very Vanilla, so I would use a Very Vanilla envelope and use the flower to stamp that on. So I hope you enjoyed. Very quick and easy vintage type card, and hopefully we're going to get some more paper pumpkin kits here in New Zealand. We can order them if they do, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed, and thank you very much for watching. Cheers!